it's crazy. Like when you go somewhere like on the other side of the planet and you like take pictures and you've stood in certain places and been and like, oh, that's fucking awesome. And then you see like a few months later, a friend standing in the same place that you stood and taking the same picture that you took and being like, oh, this is so cool. I'm like, I stood right there also. You know what I mean? Like I was in that same fucking spot.
Yeah, my friend from the fraternity did the same thing. He took some selfies when he was on the Acropolis in Athens.
Aaron Groban is like there like last week.
Aaron Groban or Aaron Cripps?
Aaron Groban.
Well, I have to befriend him. But yeah, it's
like
nuts.
A crazy rocker, dude. Yeah. Like he looks the part. He looks like this fucking dude with some gnarly hair and a beard, hanging out with some fucking like crazy looking rock and roller dudes. And just like he's like I just follow him and be like in Berlin, touring Berlin. Like, he was in Europe forever. For a really long time.
That's awesome.
I remember one time he posted a picture of just him and his friend just completely naked on the beach. I'm like, nice dick. Like, why would you post that on Facebook? I can just see you and your friend, two friends, just straight dicks, just like right out in the open. And they're happy about it. They're like, we're naked on a beach.
Full frontal
So on
aggressive.
Facebook. I'm just like, whoa, man. I'm pretty sure like you're not supposed to do that. I mean, I'm not gonna report you, but yeah, man, live it up, rocker life.
Nice dick. Yeah. Yeah, traveling, it's pretty nuts. It's crazy how you get used to it. Like when I first started traveling, I just been like, "Whoa, I'm in another country. This is crazy." You
Mexico,
know what I mean?
Man, that was when it all started.
Yeah, and then once you travel a lot, I mean, it's still super fun, but it's fun in a different way. You know, it's not like holy shit, I'm in another fucking
there's no parents
spot on
no parents
yeah, I'm not
around.
on another spot on the map. It's more like let's try to get to know like the culture here. Like how do they do things differently here? Mm-hmm. You know, it takes a little bit more digging to find the enjoyment out of it. You know, it's kind of like you can't just show up on a different spot on the map and be like, well, I'm here. This is amazing. It's like I have to be there. And I'd be like, okay, what do they do here that's different? Mm-hmm. And then I got to do that. And they're like, oh, that's fucking cool because they do that here. I can't just show up there and freak out like I used to. When I first went to Europe, I was like, holy shit, I'm on the other side of the world. I'm like, you know, what do they call it? AOL messaging?
AIM.
Yeah, AIM. AOL Instant Messaging back in 2004. I remember being in France and AOL Instant Messaging some chick. I'm like, I'm in France. And like enough said. I don't know what else to say besides that's fucking awesome.
Boom. When I get back, want to make out?
Yeah, like I'm in France. Like I'm fucking a big deal. And then like, but yeah, nowadays it's like, okay, I'll go to France, but I have to do like French shit. I have to do stuff that French people do to really like have a good time. I can't just show up and drink the same beer that I would have drank in America.
I gotta meet some locals.
Gotta meet locals.
Gotta meet some locals. Gotta meet some people that are maybe also traveling, but from a different part of the world.
I try to stay away, or we try to stay away from like the touristy areas. You want to go to like the areas that the locals go, because that's where you're gonna get the biggest like culture shock in a good way. You know what
I mean, like going to Phuket, it was totally the tourist area, but it wasn't like the tourist area for Americans. It's a tourist area from people from all over the world. So like when we were there,
we also didn't just stay in the beach. We also like the beach area, the Patong beach, that beach is like the foreigner district. It's also the party area. It's like you can get any food you want there.
You can get any prostitute sexual desire you want there.
Our friend coined the phrase. I don't know if he came up with it, but it's very good. It's a good term. He calls Phuket Whore Island. It's very accurate. There's nothing but
ocean of prostitutes.
At least on Patong Beach. I mean, we drove mopeds all around the island, and it wasn't like that outside of Patong Beach. But
yeah.
Anyway, you gotta talk. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Well, what is it like? While we were there, I had a good time. Like, what I wanted to do when I was there is I wasn't like looking forward to meeting prostitutes. Which when you go out like to a club and you like go meet girls, they're all prostitutes. Like if you meet a Thai girl at a club, she's a prostitute. At least in Patong Beach, that is. But so I was just like, I want to go to fucking Thailand. I want to go to the party area. and I want to go there mainly to meet other people from other parts of the world that are also on vacation or something like that. And we did just that. Unfortunately, we were there in between the full moon party and the half moon party. So it was like we were in the party area that was built for the capacity of like way more people who are raging. We were there kind of on like the in between period because that's just when our holiday was. And so all the prostitutes were there, but like 5% of the tourists were there. And so we'd go to like these clubs and be like, all right, there's girls everywhere. Let's go meet some. And it's like the lights would flash and you just see an ocean. And I'm like, there's no men here. It's just me, Gavin, and like there's like 100-1 odds, like 100 prostitutes to each, Gavin and then me, and no, like 100-1, like girls versus guys, and all the girls are prostitutes. But out on the beach and throughout the whole trip, we were there for like 9 days. I did meet some Russian girls, met some English guys that were a little confronting, like oh man. And then we met a French girl who was pretty cool. So it was fun. We met a couple girls from Thailand that weren't prostitutes. They were doing other fun tourist stuff, like going to the islands and you know, snorkeling and shit like that. But yeah, those fucking English guys, man, so confrontation prone. Like I'm talking to these 2 Russian chicks that I meet. Gavin wasn't there. I think you had food poisoning or something. But I was walking the beach drunk, just like fucking, having a good time. And what is it? I run into these 2 chicks, these 2 Russian chicks. Turns out they were the only fat Russian chicks in the whole country. I'm like, what? I'm like, I run into 2 Russian girls and they're both fat. I'm like, I'm thinking they're Americans. I can't remember like if I started the conversation, if they did, but I was just like thinking like these chicks must be American. And then like, oh no, we're from Russia. I'm just like, really? Looks like you're eating some American cheeseburgers. Like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, you guys are not the stereotypical Russian girl I'm expecting. But I'm like talking to these girls, but I'm enjoying. I mean, I'm not being an asshole at the time. I'm enjoying just meeting some foreigners. Where the rest of the trip was just us, like I said, frustrated that everyone's a prostitute and it's kind of annoying.
All the females,
and there aren't that many guys. All the guys are just trying to sell you suits. Hey, friend, suit for you, good. Hey, where you from? Hey, friend, where you from? Where you from? Friend, come back. Friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so I'm talking to these 2 girls, and then all of a sudden this English guy comes up. He's like, hey, blah 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 blah, like, and he's got like 2 other friends that are like running into the water in the middle of the night because the water's so nice. It's like perfect temperature even in the middle of the night, and they're like running into the water. And this one guy comes up out of like a group of 3 or 4, and he's just like he like comes over all like douchey, like trying to like who's this fucking pisser? I don't know what slang words they have, but who's this fucking loser? And I'm just like, hey man, where are you from? Blah blah. He's just like, I'm from England. And I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm from America. He's like, all right, best country in the world, am I right? I'm just like, Jesus, man. Like, I'm like, yeah, man, I do my best. And I'm just like, dude, if you really want these 2 fat chicks, go for it, man. I'm just fucking walking around by myself, like, and then eventually I kind of like won him over, calmed him down a bit. I'm like, I got no stakes in this race, my friend. And so then we chatted, I think for like I don't know, 30 minutes or something. And they were pretty cool after that. I met the other guys. But yeah, that's what I want to do when I'm on vacation. I want to meet some either locals or some other people from parts of the world that I haven't met and just fucking hang out. It makes me friends. Nothing's cooler than making a new friend on another part of the world and they're from a different part of the world. Like one of the coolest parts when I was in Milan, aside from the fact that I had just an amazing night just by myself because I had to ditch the family because there was craziness at the family. And Gavin wasn't there yet because he was meeting us from Korea. But I was like, all right, I'm going to just get on Tinder, meet somebody, and go out and do something that's away from the craziness of the family. The family was in like a feud. My mom and her sister, my aunt, and and the shitty hostel we were staying at for a couple nights with no aircon and mosquitoes and snoring fucking relatives. I'm like, get me the fuck out of here. But
sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, I ended up at this club with these 2 girls that I had met, and one of them was from Brazil, and the other one was from Peru, and they're both studying fashion in Milan. and I'm having a wild night with them. We're already wasted at a club, just spontaneously. I'm just going with the flow that they planned. And I'm hanging out with this German guy that I met. And I'm just like, how fucking awesome is this? I'm meeting all these fucking people from all over the world. And this random German dude I meet had just been to LA. And I'm just like, have you ever been to the Bungalow? And he's like, I fucking love the Bungalow, which is this bar that's in Santa Monica. It's like this outdoor bar lounge, and it's fucking cool. And we're just like going off talking about how his favorite place in West LA was the Bungalow, and I'm like, I fucking love that place too. And it was fucking awesome, just making a friend in another country.
Yeah. I think the most fun thing that we did, not the most fun, but one of the most fun things we did in Thailand was we made fun of those we made friends with those Croatians. Were they Croatians?
Yeah, they were from Eastern Russia or Eastern Europe for sure.
Somewhere around there.
Maybe was it Borat country?
No, I don't think so.
No?
But basically,
Borat country.
Borat's from Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan.
Yeah, I don't think they were from Kazakhstan. I think they were from Croatia. I could be wrong, but basically, I mean, this was 3 years ago. We met them like for one afternoon. But dude, I'm still friends with that guy on fucking Facebook, and like I keep thinking like, should I like unfriend him? Like I never talk to him, but he always posts like interesting shit on Facebook. So I'm always like, and every once in a while he'll like comment on something, and I'll like comment on something of his. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's just cool. You know what I mean? Networking with people, with expats. And you're like, oh, you know, I met you in Korea, but now you live in Europe. If I'm ever in Europe, fucking let's try to meet up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or friends with Brian. I met him in Korea. Now he lives in Vietnam. It's like next time we go in Vietnam, just fucking see Brian. He's been living in Vietnam for 2.5 years, so he'll be able to show us a good time.
Yeah, it's cool.
By the way, Vietnam's amazing. I recommend Vietnam to anyone and everyone who's willing to go. I call it the dollar country. It's like Southeast Asia before. I mean, it's becoming what Southeast Asia is now. But like everyone likes Southeast Asia because it's it's a bit rough around the edges. Southeast Asia.
I've never been. I want to go.
Well, you went to Southeast Asia when you went to Thailand.
Yeah, but I mean, I've never
been to Vietnam. Yeah, you've never been to Vietnam, but I've been to Vietnam twice. It's amazing. It's like the dollar country. Everything you want is $1. Oh, let me get a coconut. That's $1. Let me get a hat. It's $1. Let me get a beer. It's $1. Let me get a fucking huge bottle of water. It's $1. Like everything's a fucking $1. It's amazing. You want to get a moped? It's like $5, $7, something like that, for a moped for like a whole day. You know what I mean? Do I need a license? No. You know what I mean? Like you don't need a license. I've never ridden one of these. Just give me $7. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and they're like, okay, and then you get a moped for the whole day. Good luck renting a moped in Korea or Japan. You have to show them your license. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not gonna just let anybody drive a moped.
They barely let us drive mopeds in Greece.
Yeah, in Greece it was a little bit. I think we showed them licenses. We had to tell them we had experience driving motorcycles.
I showed him my motorcycle license.
Yeah. We had to like convince them. In Thailand, it was just, and in Thailand and Vietnam, it was just like $7 for a moped. Like that's the end of the discussion. And you're like, there you go. You have to give them your passport though, which is a little bit sketch. But I even tried arguing with the girl. I was like, hey, can I give you my credit card? Can I give you my license? Here, can you just take my whole wallet? And she was like, no, you have to give me your passport because people steal our mopeds. And
they like wreck
a
bike and don't pay for it.
And don't pay for it, yeah. But people steal the mopeds and then they just get a new credit card. So then I was like, but a passport's a huge deal. And then she like pulled out a fat stack of like 5 or 6 passports. And she's like, look, that's just what we do. That's what everybody does. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, okay, here's my passport. And then you and I played rock, paper, scissors, and you lost. So you had to give him your passport. Anyway, so you can get a.
That was in Thailand, not Vietnam.
That was in Thailand, not Vietnam. But in Vietnam, yeah, it's awesome. It's super. They're nice to tourists. It's not quite as in your face, like hassling hassling you as in some places of Thailand. I'm sure if you go to like the countryside, that's not an issue. But if you go to like touristy spots, you can have people in your face all day being like, buy this, buy this, buy this, begging, pleading, want prostitutes, want a ping pong show,
Buy our suits.
buy our fucking something. You know what I mean?
That's
Not. It's not like that in Vietnam.
well,
much.
That's what's so cool about Korea is nobody does that. Like Korea's fucking so civil when it comes to shopping, when it comes to like walking the streets, and that's what surprised me about Tokyo is when you go to the right districts in Japan, like you have people in your face constantly doing like that shit that I only thought was in China where people are like, hey, buy this. Hey, kebab for you. Kebab. Come on, buy our kebabs. Or, hey, you want to fuck a Japanese girl? Like, blah, 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 blah. Like, here, titty bar, titty bar. Hey, tits, tits, tits on your face. I'm just like, whoa. Like, I wasn't expecting this from Japan. I was expecting Japan to be, like, in some ways, like, Korea is catching up they're kind of in, like, a mindset of, like, all right, we were a little bit late to the game of getting to, like, wealth and capitalism and stuff like that. They're definitely there now, and so I was expecting Japan to be a little bit more like that because in Tokyo to be like that because Tokyo's such a big capital city of Japan. And then when we got there, it wasn't the case. It was like all in your face, like here, titty bar, kebabs, let's go.
Yeah. I'm sure if you're a girl though, you don't get this. Like I was telling this to a friend of mine who lives in Kyoto. And she was in Tokyo to visit us for a day. And I was like, yeah, me and my friends, we're just getting nonstop offers of prostitutes and titty bars and people trying to sell us, kebabs, like every other fucking step. It's pretty annoying. And she was like, really? Like, that's never happened to me. And then I was like, oh, well, maybe like, 4 guys walking down the street, they're going to get a different sales pitch than like a girl and a guy, a girl and her boyfriend. You know what I mean? Like,
but you see them. I'm even watching the Japanese from the footage from our trip. I'm editing the video right now from our Christmas, New Year's trip to Tokyo. And you just see just people on the sides of the street just waiting to sell you something constantly. And I'm watching the videos. I'm like, oh yeah, like, those 2 girls right there in the Santa Claus hats. They're trying to sell prostitutes. Like,
yep.
And I'm like, and they're in all the footage. There's always someone there.
Yeah, that's true. There's none of that in Korea.
It wasn't like that in Hiroshima.
Yeah, it wasn't like that in Osaka either. I think it's mostly Roppongi. And Shibuya in Tokyo. Roppongi and Shibuya are 2 districts in 2 party districts in Tokyo, but especially Roppongi. Roppongi's like the foreigner area. But yeah, traveling. That is something that I recommend every American do. Not enough Americans travel. It's a shame.
Yeah, it's tough. What is it? One thing I took for granted, I might have told you this already, but one thing I took for granted when I lived in LA, was like we grew up outside of LA, but LA was always a short drive away, so we'd go to like the beach there every once in a while and stuff like that. But then I went to college and I lived in LA for like 9 years, and the first 9 years of my adult life. So, and then our parents, they moved and shit. And so now the only real home we got is in Santa Monica. My dad's side family lives in Santa Monica. My mom lives up in NorCal. So like LA is just my home. You know what I mean? And so that's what I was used to. But like you grow up there and you're just like, okay, like you're paying the fucking rent. And you're thinking like, you know what, there's got to be some other, America's huge. Especially when you travel so much, you realize the charm of different cities. Like there's a lot of cool cities out there. Like LA's in a lot of movies, but that doesn't mean there aren't any other cool fucking cities. Traveling through Asia and through Europe told me that. I was like, there are plenty of places that it would be awesome to live.
Despite there not being a million movies about them.
Yeah, and so like I still love LA, and like if I could live comfortably there, I happily would because the weather's amazing, and there's no mosquitoes. But but I was like, yeah, I like this isn't the only thing that's there. Like this isn't the pinnacle of all goals in life. So I was like, like, and I came back from Korea. Gavin stayed in Korea, and I was like, you know what, I want to check out some different city. So I was like, you know what, I hear a lot of hype around Austin, Texas, and the rent's cheaper there, and what is it? I could do my art there, and the game industry's out there also. I was looking to get into the game industry for a while, and so I was like, I'll go check it out. I get there and I immediately realize, whoa, whoa, whoa. There's some things I didn't take into account. And one of them was the shitty airport. Like, I'm used to being at LAX and you could catch a flight fucking anywhere. Yeah, I mean, you could go to Korea, you could go to fucking other parts of the United States, you could go anywhere. It's a big international airport. Then I go to fucking Austin, Texas, and I land there and I'm like, wait, this is the airport? I thought this was a cool city, guys. I thought this was a cool fucking city, and this is your airport? Because also, I'm used to traveling to all these other cities like Bangkok, fucking Shanghai. What is it?
Hong Kong,
Incheon, Hong Kong, Japan.
even Bangkok. You already said.
Yeah, I'm used to being on all these
huge,
all these
huge
airports are massive and they're awesome and they're state of the art and they could take you anywhere. Then I show up at fucking Austin's airport. I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is not like civil. This fucking airport can take me nowhere. Like this airport is way too small. Like, and then I realized like, oh no, I'm like kind of stuck here now. Like this, like I couldn't even get a flight. I couldn't even get a direct flight to Vegas from fucking from Austin. Yeah. Like just to get to Las Vegas, I had to do a transfer. And I was like, what? Like I looked at probably like 40 flights. Like there was like one out of like 40 that went straight to Vegas. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, and then when I was coming back from Vegas, I got that is a whole story in itself. I bought a ticket for July 31st when I needed to fly back June 31st on accident. So it's like, I'm like, I don't have a fucking ticket home, and I got work the next day. So I'm looking at last minute trying to get back to Austin because I got work and stuff. And can't get a direct flight back home. I was looking at having to fly all the way to LA and then flying from LA to Austin just because it's a big airport, in LAX.
Yeah.
And so
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's one thing LA's got going that, other parts.
And Chicago.
Well, Chicago, also San Francisco, also New York. I mean, Texas has got Dallas. The thing is Dallas and Houston have big, huge airports that everybody flying from anywhere in Texas, that's like you have to go through Dallas or Houston. But it's like Austin is a cool, big city that's growing right now. It's also the capital of Texas.
I didn't even know that. I
didn't know that until I was looking into moving there. But yeah,
I thought Dallas was.
No. They just have the biggest airport. I mean, they have a bigger population too. But Austin's the capital. I'm like, why the fuck is your airport suck so much? That's a big thing because like I'm used to traveling, and then all of a sudden I'm in this fucking landlocked, shitty airport that can't go anywhere other than a bigger airport.